We're live at the Charlotte Roval tonight, second time at a road course this season. Going to be an exciting one. I'm Josh Coppernow. I'm joined in the booth by Adam Kuhn and Austin Allen. We're going to have a special broadcast tonight. It's a radio-style broadcast here at a road course. I've been looking forward to this for a long time. We finally have it. How are you boys doing?
I am doing fantastic because I know I do not have to race this race tonight, man. I went out, I did a little bit of practice, and it is going to be a tough one for these drivers. So it ought to be a fun show for everybody that is not behind the driver's seat tonight.
Absolutely, one of the craziest tracks on the schedule, really, and it's going to be one heck of a show, like you mentioned, Dawson, and it's going to be pretty exciting. It all begins, really, in turn one. We're going to see a lot of chaos in that corner, I believe, tonight.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of chaos for sure. We got a special restart rule tonight. iRacing restart zone is different than the real NASCAR zone. So rather than going through the chicane to restart the race or start the race and restart the race, rather, these guys are going to do it the exact same way NASCAR does. You see it on the screen now. That green area is where they're going to go. And they're going to cut that so everybody has a fair chance. And so going in turn one on the first lap and after the stage, when we go back green after the stage, should be chaotic. You're going to really have to be on your toes. Be ready because you don't want to go into the wall of heartburn turn.
Yes, that wall there has presented some very great moments in NASCAR. We saw it in 2018. We saw it in 2019. That wall is home to chaos. And there's a reason it's called the Tums Heartburn Turn. And that's not just because of the sponsorship. It's because going through that turn, it'll give you heartache. And so we'll see it happen tonight, especially with the special restart rule going and foregoing that chicane. We're going to have some good speed coming into turn one, so it's going to lead to maybe a bit of issues here for some of these drivers.
Absolutely, and like Josh mentioned at the top of the show, just the second road course race of the season, and obviously a lot of these guys are over heavy schedules, and that's all they really run and race, but they've taken a lot of practice time this weekend on the road courses.
Well, I want to bring in our Michigan winner. Of course, he didn't race last week. He was doing something special, so we didn't get to interview him last week after winning at Michigan. So, Adam, why don't you interview our Michigan winner, Kerfan?
Hello. Hey, sorry to ask, but what's the stage caution? How long is this race?
Yeah, hey Alexander. Great win, obviously, at your home track. So, obviously, totally different situation on tonight. What do you expect for this crazy race we all anticipate?
Well, it's really going to be a battle of attrition here today. A lot of the guys aren't too comfortable yet, and I expect a lot of incidents during the race. So I feel like if I can keep all four wheels under me the entire race and just run consistently, run my line, I feel like I can have a good shot at a top three. My optimal lap time is looking pretty good. I'm having trouble finding that optimal lap time, but I feel like I can be right up there with the top three guys.
So going into this race, obviously, we anticipate a lot of headache and heartbreak probably. What are you planning on for, it's a long race. What are you kind of, thinking of going into it?
Well, kind of debating on the qualifying aspect more than anything, because that's my main weak point. I think if I nail qualifying, if I can start in the top 5, I'll be able to stay there the entire race and just avoid any incidents on track, get around the lap traffic safely, and I should have a good race. Crossing my fingers.
Well, good luck, of course, and hopefully we talk to you later tonight.
Yeah, thank you very much.
That was Alexander Kerfan, our Michigan winner. Go ahead and bring in last week's winner, Dawson. I'll let you take this one. This is Carl Felver.
Yeah, well, let's talk to him. Hey, Carl, this is Dawson up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I do. How are you, Dawson?
I'm doing great. So obviously, this week's race is going to be far different than last week. You know, there's some aspects that can translate from road racing to short tracks, but the biggest issue is going to be that whole turning right aspect. But how you feeling about tonight's race?
I'm feeling good. Hopefully we can go and run some knots.
All right, and obviously that win last week, it was your second win on the season, firmly putting yourself in position to get into the playoffs. You've got to get that top 14. You're right there at it and pretty much moving on up into it to get that bubble spot. So how do you feel about your chances come playoff time?
I looked at the playoff schedule a little bit. There's some shorter tracks on the schedule. I think Martinsville's the only true short track. I do struggle at the bigger tracks, so hopefully we'll be able to get enough points.
Righty, and of course the biggest issue is going to be in this race on the restarts going into turn one, trying to get slowed up enough to make that first corner into the infield section. Are you thinking you're going to have any issues, and do you think it's be better to be up near the front of the field or back near the back of the field for that turn one?
I don't want to say I'm going to have issues, but it's definitely easy to do. There's faster going into turn one on a restart than you are on a regular lap, so it makes it very tricky, and then everyone's stacked up on top of each other on top of it, so it's kind of a method for disaster, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah, indeed it is. Well, Carl, we'll let you get back to practice here and get you back with your team, so best of luck out there today.
Thank you. Thanks for broadcasting.
That was Carl Felver, of course, driver the number 15. It almost reminds me of Dalton, man, a few words sometimes here. But, yeah, like he said, you're going to be a lot faster going into turn one on the restarts compared to the race. So it'll definitely be an issue for these drivers with those two guaranteed restarts we have. And so how about we let Josh talk to our next driver, the driver of the number 12 machine.
Yeah, hey, Cam. Looking good out there so far in practice, sitting P2. You won the last road course we visited, Watkins Glen. Actually, I think out of the two road courses that the series has visited, including last season, the winter season, you've won both of them. So what's it like to go into this one knowing that it's not Watkins Glen, but you got a really good shot being fast up there in the second spot so far?
Yeah, I'm definitely trying to keep that streak alive of being the only one to win a road course. The Roval is not one of my best tracks in terms of road courses. I've never been strong here, and I've kind of felt the same way about it. Like, I've never really liked it. Put a lot of time into it, though, this week, and I feel pretty confident. It's going to be a really good race between myself, Carl, and Michael, I think. As you can see, I believe we're still top three on the board. We've been really close in times all week, and we've done a practice race or two. We've all been like neck and neck, so I think we're going to put on a good show, hopefully. It's really just going to come down to saving your tires and just managing them, because there's a lot of points on the track where you think you can get back to the gas a lot earlier than you actually can, and then by doing so, you just burn up those rears, and it kills you long run, even if like the next lap. So managing your tires is going to be a big thing, but I feel like I've kind of got that down here, so I'm feeling pretty good, and hopefully we can put on a good show.
All right. Well, we'll let you get back up there with your team. Only a couple minutes left until practice ends and qualifying starts. So good luck to you. Maybe we'll talk to you later.
Yep, thanks guys. And just want to quickly say happy birthday to Adam. Hope it's been a good day, and try to get this Thin Pits Truck Chevy in Victory Lane for you.
That was Cameron Caldwell, driver of the number 12.
let's pull in another driver we're going to have to talk to today. He's going to be our in-race reporter, I believe. That is the driver of the number 47. That's Brett D. Bennett. Hey, Brett, it's Dawson up in the booth. You got a copy on me?
Yep, I got a copy.
All righty, buddy. Are you excited for this race or what?
Always.
Always.
I don't think I'm not definitely not the fastest out here, but definitely have a little bit more pace than I expected right now. So maybe give you a decent finish.
Yeah, well, we're going to have to see. Obviously, the question on everybody's mind, how these restarts are going to go. We're foregoing that front stretch chicane, going straight through, heading down into turn 1. It's going to be a sight to see, and of course, as you remember, back at Watkins Glen, you made turn 1 a problem on a restart, so you think you'll be able to make it clean this time?
That's the hope. When we did the practice one here, still people were having issues getting too deep in there. It's something where it's, especially on the earlier stage of the race start, people are going to have to be super careful there because I know some people are going to be driving too deep until they race on lap 1. You just got to hope you're not in the way of where it's going to happen and know to back it up. But we'll see what ends up happening there. I could see. I just don't see it being clean on either restart. To be honest.
Well, obviously, too, the big thing from this race, besides, just surviving that turn 1 on the restarts, you're in a tight points battle here for the final playoff spot. It's getting really close between you and our own Andrew Elias and Dalton Kelly. All three of you are kind of together in that group battling for those final playoff spots. So how important is it going to be, to have such a good run today compared to your teammates to get that good finish, to get the points?
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to have much for Dalton today. He's got a little bit of pace on me. I think I might have a little bit on Andrew. And then I know Zach Probst is also right there with us, so it's kind of us 4 for those, I think, 2 spots at this point. So I think I've got enough pace where it's just going to be about keeping it clean. That's something that at road courses I struggle with. It's going to just be being sure to make clean laps repeatedly and just hit my marks and not worry about other people, except when they were obviously wrecking in front of me. But yeah.
Alrighty, well, we'll see if we can talk to you here again when the yellow flags fly. So we'll let you get to qualifying here and get yourself set for this field. Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Of course, that was our beloved Brett Bennett from SBLD. So, as I mentioned before, our last road course outing at Watkins Glen, he had a bit of a bad restart going into turn 1, kind of ran over a couple trucks, ruined a couple days, but we'll see what happens this time because this turn 1, I think, is a bit more treacherous than Watkins Glen because at Watkins Glen, you've got that runoff room if you get spun or if you go a little too hard, but here, there's no room for error. You're going straight into that wall, and there's no recovering from it, really.
Well, we are into the JCTV qualifying now, and as we expected to see, Zach Probst is the first one out there. That's who we're watching right now, and I'm telling you, I'm a little bit surprised that Probst was kind of full song throughout the whole track on that warm-up lap. I would have thought that he would have been taking a little bit easy towards the beginning of the track, and at the end when he's really wanting that speed to come up to then start to get up to speed. So a little bit surprised. Maybe it was just trying to get his tires up to temperature a lot sooner, but I'm not really sure. He seems to be the qualifying expert here with 4 poles on the season already.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at practice speeds and everything, I mean, it's, going to be a battle for sure to see how things are going to go for these drivers. Just looking at our practice speeds, Probst was a little bit further down the speed charts, so, maybe getting that single truck outing, having no one else around, might be able to help him focus more, and that may be what gets him all these poles. He's able to zone in when he's just by himself on the track, so we'll see what happens here, but, we'll have to see how Probst can do. Also, like he mentioned on that cut line with Brett Bennett, Andrew Elias, and Dalton Kelly, he's just as close with them, so it'll be important to try to see if he can get up to the front to battle for some stage points.
Coming off the final chicane, across the start-finish line. That's going to put Probst at number 1. He's the only one to cross the line so far.
Got a lot of curb right there going into turn 1, Josh, and it's going to pay for that on that next lap. And here we see Michael Kruger midway through the infield section.
Well, guys, I know we're a little bit late on picking who we think is going to win, but let's go ahead and choose who we think is going to win. Adam, you're the birthday boy. You get the first pick.
Well, I'm going to go with the guy who won last week. He's going to kind of, I think he's going to have a huge target on his back after the win he got last weekend and him being in the situation he's in on the playoff bubble. But he's really strong on the road course, as we saw that at Watkins Glen. I'll go with Carl Felver in the 15, who we heard from earlier. Seems to have a lot of pace with these right-hand turns, and he obviously a unique racetrack. I think he's going to be in for a pretty interesting night tonight.
It's a good pick. Dawson, how about you? Who you got?
Well, I gotta say, that guy you got the camera on right now, Michael Kruger, is my pick. I am no betting man, but I would lay down some money on him. He's been fast in practice. He's been fast in plenty of sessions I've been in with him, and he's going to do well here again tonight. Michael Kruger is going to wind up in victory lane here.
Man, both you guys made a mistake leaving it wide open for me to pick the only guy that's seen victory at a road course in the ITPN Truck Series, Cameron Caldwell. He's my pick to win tonight. I think he goes 3 for 3 tonight. But so far, Kruger, top of the board on qualifying. My pick and Adam's pick has not gone out there just yet. This is a longer qualifying session than what we're normally used to seeing, being 5 minutes. This is 10 minutes because it is a road course. Allows everybody to have more time to get out there. And through the final chicane for Kruger, he got those turtles hard. And Kruger does not improve his time.
In that second lap, I think that hit on the turtles really killed it. Looking at his times, he ran a 1:22.609 his first lap, and then a 1:22.67. So obviously, I think that little bobble he had after hitting the turtles cost him at least what might have been a slightly faster lap. So we'll have to see how this goes here throughout the rest of qualifying, if that might hurt him.
Well, right there, I'm watching Carl Felver now, and as I was talking about earlier with Probst, Felver was going slow. He got to the backstretch chicane, started going, started getting his truck up to full song. He's through NASCAR turn 4 and now into the final chicane on the front stretch. A little bit getting on those turtles. He's almost to the wall. Stays off of it. Now down in turn 1 to start his first lap. So as mentioned tonight, we're going to have the radio-style broadcast. I will be calling from what is known as NASCAR Turn 4 all the way to Turn 1, where I will share Turn 1 with Dawson Allen. Dawson will take over. And Dawson, why don't you go ahead and tell what your section is?
Yeah, I think I have one of the most technical sections of this track. I've got the infield section from turn 1 all the way out to turn 8. So I'm going to have all of the twists and turns from the infield section of this road course. And I think your action zone in this area, you're going to have, of course, turn 1 and turn 2 are going to be big. But I think also you're going to have to want to watch for turns 6 and 7. That's going to be a big focal point here for some of these drivers to try to get back up to speed coming in to that outside area to the oval section of Charlotte. And then after that, once we get to turn 8, that's when Adam Kuhn will take over, and he'll take over from turn 8, which would be oval turn 1, all the way around to oval turn 3. So, Adam, how do you feel about that section there?
Well, you mentioned over turn 1 to over turn 3, but the biggest factor there is going to be that back straightaway chicane, which has been redesigned a couple times since the track's been, racing the last couple of, I believe this is the 5th season now. So obviously, you new turn for it the last couple of years, and it's going to be very, very dicey in that section, and they're going to be flat out going to turn 3 from that, and it's going to be very spicy going into the next section, which Josh is going to, of course, call.
Riding on board with Cameron Caldwell right now, see how he gets it done through that infield section. P3 on the practice time so far. And he is the only truck left out there qualifying at the moment. Just under a minute left to go in this qualifying session for the JCTV Pole Award.
Dawson, one thing I noticed right there when he got onto over turn 1 a few moments ago, very, very uncertain with his hands. He was very shaky, and we're going to see that big time tonight in turn 8, I believe.
Oh, yeah, for sure. That's going to, like I said, that area right there, coming up to turn 6, you come up over that crest right there, and you have that hard right going there. It's a very tricky turn to try to make, especially with a heavy truck coming around the corner. So it's going to be a fight for some of these drivers to get around. You see Cameron Caldwell goes number 1 on the boards there, puts him in pole position now. But yeah,
Excuse me, he got a good chuck of that Toyota going through that last chicane too, so a lot of speed there trying to clip the curb, obviously.
Oh yeah, but turn 6 is going to be very technical. Turn 7 as well. You take that left coming back around, and then you take that 8. That's that steep turn coming back up onto the banking, onto the oval section. And that's a really tricky spot there for all these drivers. They're going to have to navigate together. So we'll see what happens, and it should be very interesting as this race goes on.
Well, let's go ahead and look at our starting grid. Starting on the pole, Cameron Caldwell. To his outside is going to be Michael Kruger. In row 2, Carl Felver with Alexander Kerfan to his outside, and Noah Mayuri in the 5th spot. Adam?
John Kelly's going to pick up in 6th position on the starting grid, with Alonso Chicano and Zach Probst sharing row 4. Following that is Brett Bennett and Gary Sack round out the top 10 starting positions tonight. Dawson?
Yeah, dropping back to 11th position is Daniel Saponsky. Following him is going to be the 40 of Brandon Havens. Then it's Justin Duran in 13th, followed by Scott Roush. And obviously it shows me up there in what would be the 15th position, but I am not racing, so by that proxy, it will move Andrew Elias up to 15th. And then finally, the 16th position is going to be the 38. That is Matthew Stott.
That is our starting grid for tonight's event, the ITPN Report 150 at the Charlotte Roval. I'm definitely excited for this one, guys. I missed our last road course as I was out at a dirt track enjoying some racing, and you guys called the race at Watkins Glen, so back here call the road course. So excited.
Watkins Glen, of course, permanent road course, and this is the infield kind of zombie layout of Charlotte Motor Speedway inside the oval. And the second time we've been to Charlotte this season, Alexander Kuffin, who we talked to at the top of the show, who's going to start from that 4th position. He won on the Oval a couple months ago, the second race of the season, guys. So obviously a lot of momentum into this race here, but totally different layout, obviously, and new sense of challenges completely.
We see those blue cones off in the distance on the screens. As I was talking about earlier with where they're going to restart, they're going to go straight through those cones. These cones are not going to be there for long. And then track crew will put them back. Drivers there through the infield section right at the moment, following behind the pace truck. All 3 of our picks to win this race are first, second, and third. I think this is going to be an exciting battle, guys.
Absolutely. This is obviously the first time the series has been to this layout, and like you mentioned earlier, Josh, just the second road course race of the season, 3rd ever, second different track type, so very exciting, and we expect these top 3 to pretty much contend for the win all night long.
One thing I think these drivers have to their advantage, some of the ones that do a lot of the official racing, is the official races are also at a road course. It's not the Charlotte Roval. It is at Sonoma Raceway. So these guys, they've had a chance to, if they're doing official races, get down, practice some road course racing
Brett?
still. But here we are. We're about to turn these guys loose and go racing for 66 laps around the Charlotte Roval. Off NASCAR turn 4. Pace truck going to make their way down pit road. You'll see these guys, of course, not take the chicane. Here we go. The green flag is waving. We're underway at the Charlotte Roval. Cameron Caldwell with a great jump. He's got no pressure from behind. And
Richard already! 89 truck around, spinning! Got it back going straight. We're still going, still under green. That was Gary Sack the third. Just looked like he got a little loose, trying to get down to slow speeds, and ended up spinning it out. So already a costly mistake for that 89 truck. We see Cameron Caldwell, Carl Felver leading the way, coming through the infield section. And the battle is heating up here between positions. Michael Kruger passing the 30 truck of Alexander Kierfin, coming around here on lap 1.
In the 24 degrees of banking for the first time, Cameron Caldwell has just a 2-truck length lead over Carl Felver, and then a big gap back to that fight for third that Kruger is pulling away from comfortably, and Felver closes the gap in majorly into the entrance of the bus stop back straightaway, and 1 truck off like Dawson mentioned. Felver lost a lot of time on the exit though, Josh.
yeah, he got a little loose there entering the corner. Lost a lot of time. Now through the front stretch chicane, down in turn 1. Scott Roush had some issues in that chicane. He's lost a lot of time.
Everybody trying to crawl around here through this infield section now, as it's been a little chaotic here. So definitely an exciting moment But, you know, just looking back through the race so far, I mean, you know, we've already had an issue on that backstretch chicane. The 62 of Zach Probst spun it around in front of the field there. So we're going to have to take a look and see what happened to him. Obviously, he's dropped all the way back to 13th now, so we'll have to see what happens to the 62 truck.
Zach Probst is in a crucial spot in the standings. As you see right side damage on that 62 as he gets right on the back bumper of Andrew Elias. He is 9, almost 10 seconds behind that fight for sixth place, which is going to be very crucial in 15 laps for that segment, and he's going to be quite a long track away from that position if he wants to score points here. Going to get through that position on Andrew Elias for 11th, exiting that back straightaway chicane. You see the 44 aiding away after kind of a bobble leaving, and they're going to fight into that front straightaway chicane now. He's chasing the 38 of Matthew Stotts.
This guy's all single filed out, trying to get into their rhythm. The 89 of Gary Sack coming down pit road.
It should come as no shock who the top three are. It's Cameron Caldwell, Carl Felver, Michael Kruger. And right now, Caldwell is holding a steady lead over Felver. Now they're coming on to the oval turn 1, heading for you, Adam.
And Felver has dropped down that gap in the last couple of corners. It's about 0.7 of a second, or 5 or 6 truck lengths, and it was a lot larger a lap ago, so and Felver is just keeping the pressure right there, while Michael Kruger stays 3 seconds back. Felver not a lot neater through that straightaway, chicane, excuse me, down the back straightaway, and now he's right in that draft of Caldwell through turns 3 and 4 on the oval layout, and we have a spin in the back straightaway chicane. That is Dalton Kelly, and another truck skipped it. 2 more now, another one in the way back, missing it, and this is going to be very crucial for the 45. He's going to lose another spot to Justin Durand here.
I believe the other one...
Yeah, it looked like it was Andrew Elias.
Did it?
It was Brandon Havens.
Brandon Havens, the other one, yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Kerfan has staying right there with Michael Kruger, not really allowing Kruger to pull away. It might just be that Kruger is taking it easy, doesn't want to affect his truck. He is a little bit behind Carl Felver and Cameron Caldwell. Try to challenge for that lead, so no reason to push, but go ahead, Adam.
Excuse me, Josh. He got a lot of curb in that first corner, that first set of corners in that chicane layout. Turn number 11, he got a lot of curb, got really wide, and Kerfan almost had an opportunity if Kruger got that wall, which he came very close to it, and more problems in turn 11. Dalton Kelly for the 2nd straight lap, and another truck there making way. Looked like it was Havens again, possibly. No, and actually I think it was Brett Bennett.
That would have been Brett Bennett and Dalton Kelly once again, so... Issues in that backstretch chicane for SBLD so far.
And another issue for another SBLD driver, Daniel Saponsky. He is out of the race right now. Engine went kaput when Zach Probst had spun in that lap 1 incident on the backstretch chicane. He had started trying to get it rolling and rolled right in front of Daniel Saponsky. So issues for SBLD as a whole right now. Everybody's kind of having struggles at the early stages of this race. And looking into this infield section, speaking to Zach Probst, he is fighting that truck as all he's got right now. He is currently in the 6th position, in that position to score stage points, but having to fight hard with Justin Durand and Andrew Elias on his back bumper heading through oval 1 and 2.
Yeah, Dawson, with all those issues for the trucks ahead of him. He has easily climbed into that position that I mentioned before. He didn't have to make any track time up whatsoever. So very fortunate for that 62 machine, who had a very rocky opening lap, and he's leading this pack of about 5 trucks right now through the turn 11 layout and now into turn number 12 and 13, which is, of course, the over sections on the south end of the speedway, Josh.
You know, what's really surprised me is you've got a battle for the lead between Caldwell and Felver. A little ways back, you got Kruger and Kerfan. A little ways back from that, you've got Chicano. And then way back, you've got all these trucks here that you see on the screen, all battling for 6th position.
Felver has definitely closed the gap, catching up. Looked like we had issues maybe here in the infield section. I think Andrew Elias had a spin coming through turn 2. Indeed, he did. Cost him a little bit of time. Gonna cost him spots. He finds himself now back to 10th, with the battle for the lead heating up between Felver and Caldwell.
Felver was right on the tailgate of Caldwell through turn 11, but he lost it once again, leaving 12 into 13 and 14. He's staying right glued to that blue line. So is Caldwell.
Into the final chicane. Caldwell got a lot more of those turtles than Felver did. But Caldwell still comfortable gap ahead of Felver.
Rolling through turns 3 and 4 here. Cameron Caldwell keeping it nice and smooth as he rolls along, continuing to lead this race. Carl Felver still lurking in the shadows right behind him in his tire tracks, but no really gain or loss of time here for either of them. They're kind of keeping it about dead even, with Caldwell maintaining this race lead, coming out back onto the oval. You know, it's going to be a dogfight between the two of them as this race continues on.
There you see Felver right up on the curbs in turn 11 and 12, and using all that paint runoff on the inside of the turn 3 over turn 3, and staying glued right there to that blue line once again, but he is losing time to Caldwell, who is gapping him right now as they dive into 13 and 14.
Riding on board with Carl Felver. You can just see the difference in the lines that they're running here.
Top 6 really kind of holding it steady here. Cameron Caldwell, Carl Felver, Michael Kruger, Alexander Kierfin, Alonzo Chicano, and then Zach Probst in 6th. Everybody maintaining from here. Everywhere else on back, everyone is having struggles somewhere or another on the racing surface.
Well, Dawson, I'm not sure if you want to take advantage of this, but our in-race reporter, Brett Bennett, gave us permission to interview him under green flag conditions, which is something we've not done before. But he said as long as he's not in a battle, he's not in a battle right now. I don't know if you want to bring him in right now, Dawson.
Oh, itching for the leader. Cameron Caldwell had an issue on the front stretch. Caldwell missed the final chicane and had to forego the race lead to Carl Felver. That is a massive momentum shift for that 12 and the 15. Caldwell missing that final chicane, that final turn, and that allowed Carl Felver to take the race lead. Now put the 15 truck on top.
The way Cameron lost it, he ramped over the turtles. He got turns 15 and 16, but missed 17, and ramped over that curb trying to get into the penalty zone, and could have taken damage the way he ramped over that curb, that turtle like that. Currently down the back straightaway into turn 13, he is 2 seconds behind Felver. He was gaining just a little bit, but as he leaves turn 14, he's got that center of the 15 truck. He's making inroads quickly once again on the race leader now, Carl Felver.
Much cleaner through that chicane. Well, I say that he got both of his left sides hard on those turtles.
And you don't know, guys, that's really the most difficult portion of that layout, I believe, that 16-17 combination corner. I think 17 is the hardest one because it's such a tight corner back onto the front straightaway, especially the way it's a double dogleg. Very awkward entry back onto the oval.
Yeah, and these drivers, that is very challenging. I know it's one of my most challenging spots when I try to attempt to turn laps here. It's just trying to make sure to get slowed down enough on that front stretch chicane. And I have a lot of issues through there.
Everything kind of easing up here. We see a battle starting to brew yet again. It's Brendan Havens and Matthew Stotts 11th and 12th right now. Stotts got up into the wall there into turn 3. It's going to give the spot back to Havens and into 11th. It's a bit of a struggle here for that 38 machine as this race is going on. You know, as the laps click off, you know, it's just even more and more of a struggle as tires get heating up. As you see him, he goes really wide there coming into turn 6. So easily a place you can lose your truck. But, you know, while they're getting ready to come out onto the oval section, our leader, Carl Felver, is just now coming out of turn 4. He is now on the what we call the backstretch of the infield section. So he is rolling through here, and he's clicking off laps as well. So we'll have to see if he'll be able to catch them in time before the stage break.
Yeah, Dawson, it's very, very possible. These guys almost a minute behind the race leader, like you mentioned. Very, very far back. Both in the very few limited starts. I believe this is Matthew Stott's second in the series, and almost a home game for the 38 truck from South Carolina, but obviously a lot of checks closer, but none on the In the Pits News Truck Series, as you see him get in the wall once again. That wall contact you mentioned last lap, Dawson, was not the first, and he is having a lot of issues trying to get that truck steered and slowed the right direction. But like I mentioned before, he's been to Charlotte a lot himself, and he's been to this racetrack before, so it's got to be really neat for him to, of course, be in this race and for the second time in the series have a lot of fun out there, or try to at least.
Carl Felver leading the way here into the infield section once again. Cameron Caldwell just slipping away further and further now as Felver continues to just make a lap after lap. Still able to hold steady this race lead for the 15 truck. So we'll have to see, you know, the thing that's currently sitting on everybody's mind here is pit strategy. Is anybody going to come and pit before the stage is over? You know, they got to come in before lap 16. Before the leader takes lap 16, so it'll be interesting to see if anybody tries that offhand strategy to come in early.
Of course, that's a road racing staple now with stages being involved. So I think a couple guys who can pit without losing a lap are going to risk it, especially someone like Zach Prost. I know he's in the points position right now, but could be very big in the long-term race, the long term of this race, of course.
But again, that issue of, do you want to take that risk and get up to the front of the pack on that restart? Or do you want to try to be out back behind the chaos that could brew coming into turn 1? You know, you got to weigh your options on what you want to do. So we'll have to see what these drivers decide to do. You know, we got about another 3 laps until pit lane is closed for the stage. So, you know, it's about to be decision time for some of these drivers, and if they want to forego that track position to go for some tires, go ahead and get the truck fueled up and make a pit stop here.
Tell you, the one driver I think I would love to see try that strategy. I'm not just saying that because he's one of my drivers, but I think for the benefit of, he is one of these guys that we've been watching, Michael Kruger. Give up some stage points, come down, just some tires on the truck, take care of them tires, and have that lead once we get to the restart. I think would be the smartest thing Kruger could do to get himself back in contention in this race.
One thing we've yet to really mention about this 42 truck, last time we saw him, he was about a second ahead of Alexander Kuffin, and now he's put 13 of those between them. He's really gapped the 30 truck, and leading up into this race, he, Felver, and Caldwell were really the only three to run consistent lap times together. So it's not a surprise to see these three qualify up here, run up here, but to me, very surprising Kruger was not staying with these guys at the beginning of the race, as Caldwell has eaten up that gap even more up front, within 0.6 of a second now.
Big benefactor to that one, too. Just there on the backstretch chicane, I believe it was the 50th. Scott Roush had an issue on the chicane, and he was slow rolling ahead of Felver in his line. Cost the 15 a little bit more time, so now Caldwell's back to knocking on that bumper. He's going to see if he can try to make a move here in this infield section. He is rolling right there with the 15 truck. See if he can make a move.
When that happened, or just after that happened, we saw Scott Roush on the flat to go down the third lap. Looked like he brought it back down pit road. As they come back into turn 8 and 9, back onto the banking, Caldwell gonna lose a little bit of time? No, he is actually eating up the gap. He's gonna have a lot of momentum going into this turn 11 layout, that back straightaway chicane, as another lap truck just ahead of these guys going into it.
Something that's not talked about, issues, you know, as you see more tire smoke, a little bit more issues for some of those guys coming through. You know, the draft you can get from the truck coming down through the corner, you can get a good pull to try to pull back up for that chicane. So it's a big deal to try to get behind that car ahead of you, that truck ahead of you, and get in the draft to try to pull back up. So as you see, Caldwell is easily closing this gap. We got more lap traffic ahead as they're heading into one.
Matthew Stotts did a great job getting out of the way in 3 and 4, and there you see Brandon Havens coming to a stop right before turn 2 to let the top 2 leaders get through.
Gap is still so tight between Caldwell and Felver here as they're coming through the infield section once again. Looked like there might have been an issue. Yes, directly ahead of the 42 of Michael Kruger on the backstretch in the infield section. I believe that was Brandon Havens that might have been sideways. Bit of a scare for the 42 truck, but the battle's still heating up front.
Oh!
Felver slid. Felver had an issue. Here comes
Big time
Caldwell.
problems. Wow, the 15 looked like he did not want to get going out of that second corner in the back straightaway chicane, and Caldwell easily to the outside is going to clear Carlo Felver back to the lead, as it looks like there's an issue on the 15 truck. He's coming down pit road, Dawson.
Not sure if it's an issue or if he's making the strategy call, because now pit lane is closed. So that'll close it for the stages.
I think something went wrong on the 15, just the way he slowed massively leaving turn number 12, but we're just going to have to see, unfortunately, for the time being.
See what he does here. His right sides are up on his number 15 Ford. Right sides go down. They're going around to the left side, so those go up. And he's off, so didn't spend much time down pit road.
Just a strategy call. It looks like he's going to drop from what would have been first Right now, he's currently scored 4th. Alonso Takano rolling behind him. So it'll be a battle for 5th for the 15 truck, but he might be able to run away with this one easily.
Actually going to be a battle for that 4th spot. Carl Felver going from 1st to 4th there, coming down pit road.
I think if there's a battle, it's going to be between the 15 of Felver and the 30 of Kierfen. You know, obviously with fresher tires, it might be a battle here to see what this 15 truck can do as we see the final lap coming to it for stage 1. Cameron Caldwell continues to lead the way.
And the Cameron Caldwell just took the white flag for stage 1. So this is the last lap in that first stage. Chicano has not allowed Felver to pull away too much.
One
In on the backstretch chicane, it was Dalton Kelly who had an issue. Missing the chicane could have cost him that little bit of time he had tried to gain left on Probst. So that should pretty much lock up Zach Probst's position in the 6th spot for the final stage points.
Cameron Caldwell coming through NASCAR turn 4. And into that front stretch chicane. Gonna wheel his way to a stage win. Michael Kruger just behind, gonna come in P2.
If I'd watch anything, it looks like it will be a battle for 4th. Alonso Takano is right there with the 15 of Carl Felver. Will he try to make a last-ditch attempt to get that extra position, to get that extra point?
Chicano might not have enough. He tried through that final chicane, but it is going to be Carl Felver take 4th spot. Alexander Kerfan, of course, getting 3rd. And Zach Probst going to cross the line, claim that 6th spot. And the final spot in the points.
Big for him, battling with the rest of the field there. Andrew Elias, Dalton Kelly, and Brett Bennett not able to score stage points, where Zach Probst able to get 1. It's only 1, but that 1 could mean everything as this race goes on.
See your stage winner there, Cameron Caldwell.
slip up cost him the lead, and he got it back from that either strategy call from Carl Felver or slip up of himself. But pretty obviously very, very, very dominant stage for both 12 and 15 trucks. No surprise, wouldn't you guys say?
Absolutely 100%, Adam. And Felver, of course, doing that call, didn't lose too many positions in 4th place. I'm curious, though, if that couple laps is going to have any effect on his tires, and how much of a difference it's going to be between himself and the 12, Cameron Caldwell, 42, Michael Kruger. And his tires being a little bit warmer than everybody else's. What's it going to be like going into that turn 1 on the restart?
And one thing that we kind of mentioned, or hinted at least, is that Chicano did not get pulled away from Felver, and Felver never put a comfortable gap over the 25 truck for that position. So, you know, maybe he didn't eat up his tires at all. He just kind of rode around. Whoa, a lot of stack up right there. Wow. Behind the pace car, the field caught up to the back of the pace car, and Caldwell jammed the brakes. Kruger almost ran in the back of him, And Scott Roush almost didn't see that, so almost disaster there on the pacing.
A lot of interesting radio chatter here throughout this race. Was a tense moment there with the 50 truck of Scott Roush. So I believe the free pass is going to be the 38 of Matthew Stotts, our 11th place runner right now.
It does appear that it will be Matthew Stotts. Well, Adam, it looks like your first name is a little bit beat up on the front of Andrew Elias's truck.
Obviously,
I didn't even know he did that, so that's very cool. I didn't see that until right now.
He told me earlier, he told me to keep it a secret. Don't know if I was supposed to reveal it during the race or not, but we're here under pit stops. Everybody coming down except that 15 of Carl Felver. It's going to be a battle off pit road, and I think Caldwell's going to get it. Kruger.
Caldwell beat Kruger. Then it's Chicano. There's Dalton Kelly coming off there. Brett Bennett. Looks like a bit of a longer stop for the 30 truck of Alexander Kierfin. Might have some damage he's wanting to repair, just wanting to chill out. Might be going to the bathroom. It could be any reason, but looks like he's rolling there. There's the 44 of Andrew Elias as well. He is rolling. So with that, here's our stage 1 winner, Cameron Caldwell. Cam, bit of an exciting way to win it, but you got the stage win. What was that first stage like out there?
Yeah, it's pretty good until I blew the front stretch chicane. I just went there a little too hot, and I realized after that I should probably start backing it up because it's still kind of the same. Still was getting a little too hot, but other than that, it was pretty good. Ran down Carl and obviously pit. But my whole thing there was get the play-out point, get the points. Since I missed last week, I need to make up some points for the overall points lead. So that's kind of goal number 1, so I'm glad that's checked off. And now we will work on getting back up to Carl and finishing this one off.
Yeah, obviously, it's going to be about forcing a mistake for the other drivers more so than it is getting that pass around them. Do you think you'll be able to rattle up that 15 enough to make him make that one mistake that'll get you the spot back to P1?
Yeah, I think I'll be able to do a thing or two here. I think once I started closing in on him, I got in his mirrors and I saw him sliding around quite a bit. And obviously, I don't know if you guys caught it, but he slipped up pretty majorly in the backstretch chicane. That's all she wrote for that. But if I can just get him to kind of burn stuff up, then I'll be in pretty good shape. He's always did pretty good saving my rears at least. So I think I'll be able to give him a run for his money for sure.
Alrighty, well, we'll let you get back at it here. Driver number 12, Cameron Caldwell, your stage winner. Was the field continuing to pace around here? You see Carl Felver inheriting the race lead due to the call, and you got to wonder if that call was just one of those things where they made it late because of that slip up he had coming through that backstretch chicane. Possible reason of why, but
Very fortunate that it kind of happened on the last lap of pit stops, so he can tuck right in from, well, I guess technically second position as he had just gotten past, so he can tuck right in and get in and beat the line before the light turned to yellow.
Oh, yeah. Well, Adam, what do you say you call up our in-race reporter, Brett Bennett?
Hi to Alonso. Oh, no.
Yeah, hey Brett, got a copy?
All right, here we go. Yep, I'm here. I got a copy. You got me?
Sorry, Brett, yeah. Very quiet first stage for you there. How is it like, getting around this track right now?
Honestly, it's feeling pretty good. The initial start was a little sketchy. I think somebody locked it up and spun into my side, but didn't get me too bad of damage. And I had to cut the chicane twice on the first 3 laps because people spun in front of me, and my options were to drive towards the spinning truck or go straight, and I chose straight. Self-preservation. But other than that, it's been a good race. I think I'm definitely on the pace, like to compete for the win, but I definitely can get I definitely think I can get a solid top 10 here and help my points battle. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun so far.
Absolutely, hope we can see you do that. What do you have expectations for this restart here in a couple of seconds?
We'll see what happens. I mean, I think people are going to probably be more aggressive than they were on the initial start. Most people seem to take it really easy on the initial start. I think some people are going to try to be more aggressive.
All right, well, good luck you. And obviously, have fun rest of the night.
Thank you. You too.
I mean,
6th position, our in-race reporter, Brett Bennett.
yeah. I mean this in a nice way. I'm hoping we don't have to pull him back up here because I'm hoping we can go caution-free the rest of this race.
Well, he did say we could talk to him under green flag conditions. But it would be nice to see this thing go green all the way to that end. We're about to come to our another restart. Carl Felver going to have this one. Of course, they're not going to cut that front stretch chicane. They're going to go right through it. Carl Felver, the control truck. See him getting going there. Green flag is out. He gets way out there. Great job, and so far, very clean getting into one.
Everybody clear coming into the infield section. Carl Felver continues to lead. Second place still at Cameron Caldwell. Michael Kruger finds himself in P3. Got a battle back here. It's Dalton Kelly letting the 30 of Alexander Kierfin go as they continue on through this infield circuit here at the Charlotte Roval. Everybody just maybe trying to tiptoe around, keep it nice and clean. But as you see, Zach Probst is trying to make a move on Brett Bennett coming onto Oval 1.
Zach Probst all over the back bump of Bennett there. He's going to search around and try and tuck in that draft, as Dawson mentioned before, and he might have a slingshot move going into turn 11.
There in the back, chicane Alonso Chicano around.
And he's going to keep his foot in it. No, he had to bail out of it. Looked like he wanted to throttle up and go all the way around, but trucks still going through the infield chicane prevented from him doing that. He's going to have to back up, go again. He is going to be 5 seconds behind the next truck for position and way behind the leaders. Disastrous start for this final stage for the 25.
And that is not what you want to have happen when you have no more guaranteed yellows. He's going to have a long way to go if he wants to turn this 11th place into a better position. That's 44 to go.
Shame. Excuse me, Josh. A real shame for that 25 truck. One of the quietest guys we've seen all night, and he was comfortably in the top 5.
As for 6, that Zach Probst passing the 47 of Brett Bennett. Going to get around him there coming into now turns 6 and 7 as Justin Duran and Andrew Elias lurk behind the 47 machine. Going to try to make a move on him as well if they can.
Just had another spin. It was Matthew Stotts. Very tough night for him, but he's P10, but this makes it easy for Alonso Chicano to get another position back.
Absolutely. Stotts is going to aid way for that 25 truck to easily regain that top 10 position. And he is going to march on and try and get around that lap truck of Brandon Havens right ahead of him as Stotts continues to struggle with that damaged 38 machine.
It's going to be a fight for Alonso Takano to climb back through the field here. Like we said, no guaranteed yellows, and it's just going to be a big fight trying to keep track and catch back up. You know, he was running decent lap times, but it's a matter of you're going to have to make a lot of work to get through and catch back up. So he's going to be pushing hard, so I wouldn't be shocked if another mistake or two is made. Meanwhile, up front, battle for the lead, heating back up. Cameron Caldwell is all over the back bumper of the 15 of Carl Felver.
This is as close as it has been since the restart. Cameron Caldwell doing a great job closing in on that 15 truck.
Back onto the 24 degrees of banking, and Caldwell had a much stronger arc onto the Speedway oval, and he is continuing to march down that gap little by little. And don't look now, third place Michael Kruger. This is the closest he's been to these top duo probably since the first 5 laps of the race.
Into NASCAR turn 4 on the front stretch chicane. Cameron Caldwell just continuing to hound the back of the 15 machine, going into turn 1.
Amazing the amount of speed they can carry through turn 1 going into the infield section. Right there you see the 15 kind of clip the turtles a little bit there on the inside of turn 4. Heading down for 5 now. Caldwell is still right there. He's got a nose in almost. He is right on the back bumper of the 15. He's coming for the lead.
Once again, the 12 climbs the banking a lot higher than the 15 of Felver did, and it's going to give him a lot of momentum once again into turn 11. He's carrying that draft into the back straightaway chicane yet again, and he's going to continue to fill the mirror of the 15 truck comfortably through 11. They both get off 12 pretty good, and they set their sights onto the Speedway 3 and 4 once again.
It's like Caldwell said, when he came in here for his interview after winning the stage, he wants to get to the back of the 15. He wants to get in his mirror, and he wants him to make a mistake. And right now, he's definitely right there, and he is definitely going to have a chance to pounce on this 15 if he makes a mistake.
Yeah, Dawson, I don't know about you. I know, and see Felver get a little bit wide there. But as I was going to say, I don't know about you, but I know when I'm racing on road courses, which I'm not very good at myself, when I have a faster truck coming up behind me, I tend to make more mistakes. Rather than just do what's smart, pull to the side, let them by, it makes me push, and I tend to make more mistakes, and that's what Caldwell was saying, is he wants to get right there into Felver, make him get off rhythm, and screw up his line a little bit.
Definitely the faster truck right now on track. Caldwell is to Felver, but it's a patience game. You don't want to try to push to the issue and then wind up making the mistake yourself. You want to keep running your line, keep running what you're doing, and just hope you're sitting there in his head. He's having to think about what he's doing to stay ahead of you. That's the mind games you got to play at a track like this. Any slight mistake could easily lead to your day being done. As we saw with the 25 Alonso Takano, he's recovered to 8th, but he was running top 4 at the stage break. So obviously, you don't want to be the one to make the mistake. You want to force somebody else to make a mistake.
Right now with this great onboard shot, what I'm seeing is the 15 truck does not have enough rear security compared to that 12, and I don't think it would have anything to do with the tire difference. There's only a matter of a couple laps where that 15 looks very unstable exiting the corners right now with that rear end.
Yeah, I definitely think Caldwell is better in this infield section here than what Carl Felver is. Where Felver seems to be better on the speedway sections.
That last lap by, Felver was faster by just over a tenth, or just under a tenth it looks like. So, I mean, I'm wondering if that's more so Cam is just waiting, or if Felver's starting to pick up some more speed here.
Over wide a little bit into 12, but he's going to maintain his 4/10 of a second lead over Caldwell right now. And guys, we still have 40 laps to go in this race. Caldwell doesn't really need to, push the attack too much on Felver right now, because if he does, Felver has plenty of time to regroup and get back to him if he can.
Truck has been so smooth. And we had another issue for the 25 of Alonso Chicano, spinning again there on the backstretch chicane. He and Brett Bennett got side by side, it looks like, and the 25 just got in a little too hot, cooked it, and lost it there. So another position, another issue, costing that 25 a couple more spots back to 10th again. So just not a good race for that 25 team.
Back up to the lead battle. 15, Carl Felver continues to lead. The 12, Cameron Caldwell. Cameron Caldwell, of course, continuing to hound Carl Felver for that lead. I don't know what the fuel is like for these trucks. We got 38 laps to go in this race. I know that's a long ways to go at a track like this, so I'm curious to know if we're going to see green flag pit stops at some point in this race.
Yeah, I don't think they'll be able to make it just flat out on fuel in this race. I think they will have to stop one more time. I'm not sure when that would be, when the window's going to open, but it's definitely going to be a situation where they're going to have to pit, and they're not going to be able to, just kind of go out and just keep it rolling, because it looks like a full tank is about 32 laps, so they will have to pit again for sure. It's just a matter of when they do pit. As we see, it looks like the 50 of Scott Roush, a lap truck, going to pull down pit road. It's a matter of when the leaders decide to pit, when they're going to have to come down and try to get that splash of fuel to get to the end of this race.
I've been watching the lap times, and the top three continue to swap. Who is the fastest driver each lap? That time going to Michael Kruger, P3.
But the closest that Caldwell has been, yet again, right on that back bumper there, but gives up that time just a little bit more. Have to see what the 12 is thinking here, trying to push the issue here with Felver. Let's see.
It looked like the 12 skated a lot trying to get the throttle down in turn 12, but it did not hurt his momentum at all. He is gaining time on Felver through speedways 3 and 4 as they dive into 15 and 16.
Caldwell.
Almost all over the back bumper.
Yeah, he is. He's right there going into turn 1. Not able to make a move, though. Not Carl Felber just yet. But the fastest driver that time was Cameron Caldwell, 124.1 compared to Felber's 124.2. And in case you're wondering, Kruger, third place, a 124.4.
Oh, Caldwell got the wall there. Just clipped that wall there, coming around, trying to catch the 15. That might be a part of the mistake. It might not be too significant, but still, that little bit of contact with the wall could easily mean just the end of your race there, because it could very well affect your truck and the handling of it. So we're going to have to monitor that one, but the 12 truck just got that inside wall while battling with the 15 of Carl Felver.
And the last almost, handful of laps, 10 laps or so, in the infield, Caldwell has been peeking his nose in almost every corner he can, just trying to look and have a shot on the inside of Felver. Obviously, he's not taking it, and he's just kind of playing mirror games, but there might go away with a little mistake like that. But Dawson, he is not losing any time at all, hardly, still within a half second of that race leader, but he's getting just slower and slowly smaller in that mirror, but not enough to relieve Felver just yet.
Issues in the infield here ahead of me. The 38 unable to make it onto the oval section, spinning into that infield wall right there. A scary spot to hit right there on the track, but looks like he did get it back around and going again, but just not the kind of race you wanted here if you were the driver 38 if you're Matthew Stotts. Just fighting hard all race long and battling with that truck.
Caldwell lost a lot of time that time through the infield section.
He's not fully losing. He's keeping just a slight gap there, but obviously it's starting to slip away from him here. That gap he was at, he was right on the back bumper. Now he's starting to get about 2 truck lengths back as this run goes on.
I'm still thinking here that Caldwell is much better through that infield section than Carl Felver is. That's what's been allowing Caldwell to really keep up there with Carl Felver. Felver seems to be better. Oh, Caldwell having issues getting into that backstretch chicane.
Yeah, it looked like he might have got a little bit too much of that turtle there going into turn 11, and truck just wanted to go to the opposite direction. Meanwhile, out back, we see in 8th position, Alonso Chicano has gotten around Andrew Elias and Justin Durand, and the next truck he's going to run into would be Brett Bennett yet again. So we could see that that feud spark up yet again tonight.
Yeah, they've already had issues that spin with Chicano there in the backstretch earlier. They were not happy with each other over the radio, so if Alonso does get back up to that 47 truck, I don't know if it'll be super friendly between the two of them.
It's not the first time the two have made contact, far from it, this season in general, so maybe it even goes back to last season, but those two are no strangers on the racetrack.
Carl Felver is now pulling away from the 12 truck. Cameron Caldwell. Over 1.3 seconds is the distance.
Scott's having an issue on that front stretch chicane yet again, getting it loose. Just an ever-going battle with some of these drivers on that front stretch chicane. Just in a fight for handling as this race goes on. You know, the thing I'm noticing here, just watching this run as it goes on, you know, Felver and Caldwell are running nearly identical lap times. You know, they are just barely like thousandths off of each other these laps. So, I mean, you know, they're keeping consistent with each other. So, obviously, Caldwell not losing any time after that incident.
And the last time by, they both ran a 1:24.8. Felver just a little bit quicker than Caldwell.
And the gap is closed between Brett Bennett and Alonso Chicano under a second now as that 25 hunts down the 47. From the looks of things, it looks like they'll catch each other on that backstretch chicane yet again. So things might be brewing here between these two once more.
Very funny how it works out that way, as they both re-enter that 24 degrees of banking, and both pretty even. I don't think Chicano's going to have a run going down that back straightaway as he wanted to. I don't know if he'll be able to have an opportunity to peek into turn 11 quite yet.
Ooh, he definitely was thinking about it.
Bennett looked like he might have braked a little bit too early, so that allowed Chicano to send it in very deep. He closed up a lot more than I anticipated, but not close enough to do anything as they head back into turns 13 and 14 of the speedway.
And they're going into that front stretch chicane. You see Chicano close it in heavily on the 47, Brett Bennett.
He wants the spot, but Brett's not going to give it up so easy. Looking back up to the front, though. 38 truck pulling aside for the leaders here. Felver continuing to pull away from Caldwell slowly but surely. As they continue on here, the battle still heating up between Chicano and Bennett. Still ever so close the two of them are.
We do have a driver down pit road. It is the number 44 Happy Birthday Adam Kuhn machine of Andrew Elias. He's finished up his pit stops, working his way back out onto the track. We stay here with this battle between Chicano and Bennett.
Very surprised to see that 44 truck to come down this early, right on the outside of that pit window as Chicano, huge send into that back straightaway chicane. Looked like he attempted to turn that 47 truck, but he slightly missed. Looked like he might have got on the curb just a little too much, but it looked like a swing and a miss though, unfortunately, into turn 11.
That wouldn't be the first time he took a swing and missed this week against SBLD, but nevertheless continuing to battle here for the 7th position as Bennett continues to hold the position. Chicano wants that spot desperately.
Yeah, I think that was only strike one in that at-bat. You're about to have the second pitch thrown.
Yeah, Chicano is not very happy with that 47, and he wants to move him out of the way as quick as he can. Oh, he is just driving it in so hard here, just trying to get to the back bumper of the 47 to move him out of the way, it looks like almost.
Bennett's going to defend that inside line while Chicano searches around anywhere for some speed. It looked like he had a lot of momentum going his way into turn 8, and now he's on the inside of Bennett into the back straightaway chicane. He's not going to line up for a pass. He's going to tuck back in line, and he did not go into it full send back into that quarter panel. He stayed there calmly, rode through the corner. There he is again on the back bump of Bennett going into the front straightaway chicane. He puts the bumper slightly to him, but no contact just yet into 14 and 15.
Dang, nose to tail with him, though. Keeping it close. Not yet able to make a move. Up front, Caldwell Felver coming down to the backstretch chicane. They continue to keep even 1 and 2 as they've gapped the third place truck of Michael Kruger. Fourth place is Alexander Kierfin. And then finding himself in fifth place is Dalton Kelly.
We did see Alonso Chicano get around the 47, Brett Bennett. And he did so without spinning 47.
Yeah, but we see the damage it took to that 25. Right on board with that 47 to turn number 2 when that contact happened. And you see the end result for the 25's front ends of that Chevy Silverado. But like you mentioned, the 47 kept it going in the right direction. Still right there, but got moved out of the way for it.
Alonso, very much a hard racer. You know, you think of a comparison to somebody that's, racing today. You know, he's kind of like a Ross Chastain. You know, he drives really hard, and he will push your buttons if he needs to try to get by you. He's a very aggressive driver. So, sometimes it pays off and it works. Other times it, doesn't work in your favor and backfires. So, we'll see how that happens after tonight's event. But, right now, he's found himself back up to 7th after his incidents he's had, his multiple spins on that backstretch chicane. And, speaking of that, how about our 5th place truck, Dalton Kelly? He spun twice, 2 straight laps pretty much. He spun on that backstretch chicane. Now he finds himself in the 5th place position. And he's got a nice gap between him and 6th place Zach Probst, who's about 6 seconds back of the 45 machine.
That last lap, Caldwell was faster than Felver by almost a full second. You can see Caldwell here right back with Carl Felver. 0.5 of a second is the gap going into turn 1.
Caldwell's definitely turning up the heat. He is getting more aggressive here on his corners. He is trying everything he can to get back to the back bumper of the 15. Because I think he might know pit stops might be coming soon for these drivers if they don't have enough gas. They're going to have to pit soon, and he'd rather pit from the lead than pit from second.
And I'm wondering if they're going to try to cut it in half. Of course, Carl Felver came down pit road a little bit sooner than everybody else as he came down during stage 1, just before the stage 1 break. Everybody else came down 21 laps ago. And there's 27 to go here, so it's almost to that halfway point if these drivers are going to cut it in half. Into the front.
Interesting to see.
Go ahead, Dawson.
I'll say, be interesting to see what the drivers are thinking here as it's coming down to it. You can see that 12 truck is pushing so hard there into 17 again, hitting the turtles. So, what these drivers are going to be thinking coming for that pit stop, that last stop of the race, when they take it, and, just the execution of getting on and getting off the pit road with no issues. It's going to be interesting to watch here.
Still the only driver that has come down pit road has been Andrew Elias. Continues to stay 1 lap down.
And once again, guys, Michael Kruger was not able to really keep up with these guys. The very, very short one, he was keeping it well within camera shot, right in this picture pretty much, 3 seconds behind this top duo. Oh, Felver
Gonna
slid up
drive
a
her down pit
little
road.
bit.
Alonso Chicano going to be the first to come down pit road.
And I believe
And
Carl
Meanwhile,
Felver's
Dawson, yeah, Felver slid into turn 11, and Caldwell had a great launch off of turn 12, and they are side by side into Speedway 3 and 4.
I was thinking Felver was going to come down that time, but he stayed out. He surprised me. Cameron Caldwell right there. He's looking underneath. Not quite able to make the move going in turn 1.
Caldwell is getting after it. It's go time for him. It's close to the pit window. He wants to push for the race lead now.
I think Caldwell is starting to get in Carl Felver's head just a little bit. But the fastest driver on the track that last time by wasn't either one of these guys. It was that third place driver, Michael Kruger, who is 6.3 seconds behind this duo. Felver and Caldwell continue to push their trucks to the limit as battle for the lead continues down the backstretch.
Felver went really wide on the exit there. Here comes Caldwell to the inside now. Going for the race lead on the apron.
Felver's going to block him to the apron, almost give the 12 no place to go except checking up to get back onto the banking. Holy cow, that was dicey for between those two. Surprised to see Felver block that position like that. Almost looked like a mirror of last lap with him making a mistake in 12 and Caldwell taking all advantage of it. He's peeking again into turn 1.
Not able to make the move. Caldwell continues to stay behind Felver. As they go through the infield section of the track. By the way, Michael Kruger down pit road, as well as Alexander Kerfan.
I believe Zach Probst coming in as well. So I expect to see some more of the field coming in. Aggressive pass. Dalton Kelly just got by Justin Duran on the backstretch. But Probst in, I believe we'll see some more of these guys dive down to pit road in the coming laps. Kruger gets back out on the track. He stays in third. Now we wait to see what the leaders do as they come around. It's like Justin Duran coming down pit road. Dalton Kelly, Brett Bennett foregoing pit road this lap.
Caldwell making his
like
way
Cameron
in.
Caldwell's in.
Felver stays out.
Ooh, got to get down to pit road speed there, and he'll be able to do it. So Caldwell pits from second position. Now it's just Felver, Bennett, and Kelly, the three that need to pit still. I believe to make it to the end of this race, we've got an incident, it looks like, behind Brett Bennett. It looked like on the track. I couldn't tell who that was that's in that backstretch area. It looks like it might have been the 51 of Daniel Saponsky. He'd come back out, try to turn some more laps, get some more spots. He lost it in that infield section, was able to keep it going. But just kind of a sight you don't want to see with a lap truck up ahead of you, especially one that is currently 33 laps down, having an issue like that. So Caldwell is able to pull off pit road. He stays in second position, and he keeps about a 3-second gap ahead of the 42 of Michael Kruger. Looks like the 30 truck of Alexander Kierfin cycled back out in the 4th position. So now we just wait and see if Brett Bennett and Dalton Kelly come in anytime soon. That 15 should be due to come down pit road in the next lap or so, I believe.
I'd be surprised if he stays out one more time. Not take his machine. Yeah, he is coming.
Here he comes. Ooh, close on speed there. That'll be a close one on if he got down to pit road speed enough time. We'll have to see.
My telemetry showed he didn't, but it's been wrong in the past. I'm curious
Yeah, it
to
looked
know
like
if he
he
did.
was. It looked like he was still almost 60 miles per hour getting in, but he got it down to 38 right at the window, so it'll be close for sure, but we'll have to see. But I believe with that, it's going to cycle the race lead to Cameron Caldwell. He'll take back the race lead here at Charlotte with just about 22 laps to go this time by.
Yeah, Cameron Caldwell has passed Felver. And Felver has slipped into the clutches of the 42, Michael Kruger.
And Kruger's right there as well, but I don't know how much the fresh tires are going to matter compared to, an oval track. We'll have to see how bad it's going to be.
Obviously, warm tires on this 42 truck, and cold tires just bolted onto the 15, so he's putting the pressure on to the Felver truck. As he re-enters the oval, they both do. They're going to easily get by Andrew Elias here, who aided away for Caldwell in the infield section a moment ago. And they're slowly reeling in Caldwell just a little bit right now as they all kind of return to the track for the first couple laps since pit stops.
Brett Bennett had come down pit road. That leaves just Dalton Kelly. Still got to come down and get his service, I believe. And he currently is scored in the 5th position. So Cameron Caldwell maintaining the race lead now with Michael Kruger and Carl Felver trying to chase him back down.
I do see that Dalton Kelly did come down pit road 4 laps ago, so that completes pit stops. Actually, Brandon Havens still has to come down pit road.
Looks like everybody's gotten about settled where they are. So now the goal is to just not make a mistake. Don't overdrive the corners, don't push it too hard and just keep it clean. And so we're going to have to see some of these drivers really take that, and just drive easy. We got a battle brewing here that is going to be for, I believe, the 8th position between Brett Bennett and Justin Durand. Bennett closing in on him. Fresher tires than the 20 truck, so we'll have to see if he can make a move on this 20 truck coming down into the backstretch chicane.
Slight bobble for both those trucks. Justin Durand really wide through 12. And, the 47 of Brett Bennett got a lot of turtle into turn 11. So both trucks with less than ideal lines to that back straightaway chicane. And both continue on, obviously, at the moment, but a minute behind the race leader right now, guys.
They had to tiptoe around because of the fact that that lap truck, Daniel Saponsky, was there as well. Didn't want to hit him, but you look right behind Bennett. You can see the 12 of Cameron Caldwell, the race leader, coming into turn 1 just behind them. So it's going to be a bit of a battle here while they battle for what would be 8th and 9th. The race leader is closing in behind him to try to lap them both and put some more trucks between him and the 15 and 42.
See there, looking back, you saw the 15 Felver, 42 Kruger in the background. 2.5 seconds back is Felver. 4.5 seconds back is Kruger.
Felver is running faster lap times. Last couple laps been faster for the 15 than the 12. So he's definitely trying to inch his way towards him and close in on him. We'll have to see what he can do. That last lap there was a 1:22.761. That is 2 1,000ths off of Felver's fastest lap time that he's run this race. So he's definitely right there on speed. It's just a matter of catching up to that 12 truck. And maybe we'll see a role reversal of what we saw at the beginning part of this stage of the 15 trying to force the 12 to make a mistake.
See here, Caldwell is right there with 47. Brett Bennett, the 20 of Justin Durand. Interesting to see how these trucks respond to the fact that the leader is right behind them.
They're definitely going to have to see what Bennett and Durand do. Durand went a little wide in that corner. It's going to open the door. They're going to be side by side ahead of the race leader here coming in at turns 6 and 7.
This is not what Caldwell wants to see at all.
He needs to get around them here coming onto the oval. And it looks like he's going to have to wait just another second here because it looks like he's not going to be able to get clear. Bennett will stay high, but the damage has been done. Just now at 2 seconds, under 2 seconds almost, is the gap between the 12 and the 15.
The good news for Caldwell is he is taking them one at a time, which is going to put a little bit of buffer between he and Felver for the time being, as the 20 now gets out of the way, leaving the back straightaway chicane. So Caldwell now has clear track once again, while Felver and Kruger have two lap trucks, to negotiate here, and just a second and a half of a buffer for that 12 truck remaining.
15's got him in a bad spot. He's got it right behind him here, coming through the front of chicane. There's another truck up ahead of Caldwell. I believe it is the 25 of Alonso Chicano. He is the next truck ahead of our race leader, Cameron Caldwell. Of course, they're teammates over, so we'll have to see what happens if they'll let each other by. So Felver's going to have to push hard to try to get around these lap trucks and to try to catch back up to the 12th truck. Brett Bennett pulls to the side. Now it's just a matter of how Justin Duran will respond.
The timing that Felver caught these trucks are really unfortunate. The slowest section of the racetrack, and these two racing for top 10 positions, both racing for playoff positions at the time being this deep in the regular season. So both drivers obviously tiptoeing around each other, one going for the win, one going for a playoff position, and Felver right underneath the 20 truck.
Oh, we got the wall a little bit!
Very chicane, yeah, he was very unstable, got that inside wall, and it looked like he wanted to shoot back and get that outside, but very fortunate to keep it from doing that, and he is still stuck between these two lap trucks, losing a second to Caldwell now.
And that left side damage on the front of Felver. Looks
Still having issues getting around him. Wow.
Yeah. That looks like a whole lot worse.
Oh, Duran smoked the tires into that corner, and he's going to let Bennett get back side by side with him.
He is struggling now with the handling of that truck. That's the issue we thought we'd see with Caldwell. That's what we're going to see with this 15. Look back behind. Kruger's going to make the aggressive move to get 2 for 1 through turns 3 and 4. Michael Kruger going to try to hunt back down the 15.
Kruger did that. It made the 20 knock the 47 wire, and the 47's going back at Durand. So everyone's going at her right now in this stage of the race. Oh, really squirrely there for that 47 truck.
Caldwell now holds just about a 4.5 second lead over Carl Felver. And the next truck ahead for Cameron Caldwell is the 25 Alonso Chicano, just up ahead of him now.
And I think that damage on the 15 truck of Carl Felver is a lot worse than the damage that Cameron Caldwell has. We see Felver struggling already, and I think that's just game over for Carl Felver, who may have a hard time getting around the really tight corners from here on out. 16 laps to go in this race.
To be interesting here, the 12 has caught the 25 now and try to put him a lap down. How will the 25 just let him go, or will he try to hold him up? Right now it looks like he's running his line like normal, not worried about the 12 being behind him.
Baba right there exiting 2 and 4 also, and going to allow Caldwell to get to the inside, but this is not a passing zone, and they're side by side through this corner.
Caldwell does get by Alonso Chicano. Put Chicano a lap down.
Chicano is our 7th place truck. That puts him a lap down. Right now it looks like the field is pretty much all but spread out. Michael Kruger has caught, or is very much close to the 15 of Carl Felver. Not too far off here. Gonna try to make that ground back up to see if he can get that 2nd place position.
Meanwhile, these two, Durant and Bennett, continue to battle.
I believe Brett Bennett's a little bit faster than Duran right now, but I don't know why he can't get around that 20 truck. It's been very, very fun to watch, though. You see the 47 continuing to smoke the tires up, trying to pounce on Duran, who goes really wide in turn 17, blew it completely, and comes to a stop at the start finish line. So there goes that fight for the time being.
Michael Kruger is starting to become the fastest truck on track right now.
But is it too late? 15 laps to go. I mean, he's going to need to be exponentially faster to catch our race leader to see if he can make a chance at going for the win.
We're getting by Chicano with side by side almost the entirety of over 1 and 2. That really is going to hurt him compared to Kruger, who's just behind as he goes back into turn 11 and 12, still struggling on the exit of 12. Looks like he's almost going to clip that wall yet again every single time. It looks like he's just having not enough steer in that truck in the exit of 12, and that's really, really hurting him in the pace overall through speedways 3 and 4, obviously.
Fighting hard to hang on is that 15 truck. That last time by, Caldwell much faster than his counterparts, running away with it.
Michael Kruger trying to get by.
Trying to get by the lap truck of Alonso Chicano. Can't quite get it there. He's going to force the issue here. And contact! Contact with Alonso Chicano. Chicano is off.
Kruger body slammed the 25 truck repeatedly to save himself and basically shot Chicano into a tire bundle. Wow, that was a big time moment for both of them, and that was desperation from Michael Kruger, I believe. He knows he needs to get it done now with so few laps remaining, and he just cooked it too hard, I believe, guys, in that corner, and tried passing when really, really tight to pass in that corner, and Chicano obviously not giving any room to the leaders we've seen, and wasn't given any space there.
Our leaders are now separated a good chunk. This battle continues to be the closest we have on track at the moment. Brett Bennett still right there with the 20 of Justin Duran. Of course, Bennett had gotten by Duran.
Yeah, something happened in that span to allow Duran to get right back by Bennett. I can't seem to find it. It looks like he blew the turn, the front stretch chicane, missed it, had to stop, serve a penalty, and with that, it gave the position back to the 20 truck. So the never-ending battle for 8th continues on between Duran and Bennett.
These guys have 13 laps to go to settle who's going to finish in that 8th position.
And they're going to fight for all 13. I mean, it's not going to be, once one slips up, it'll be over. But if it's not a slip up from anybody, they're going to fight until that last lap.
And I'm wondering, guys, how much that damage that Alonso Chicano took with his battle between himself and Kruger. How bad the damage on the 25 is. Because these guys might have a chance to run down Chicano. And this battle for 8th could become the battle for 7th.
Wow, I know right now they do not care what position they are racing for. They are racing against each other, and that is it. In the backstretch chicane last lap, Duran missed turn 12, and Bennett followed him right in there, and they almost both took that wall contact that we saw Felver take, and Duran had a nearly swerve at the last second to miss it, and it looks like they are just just Bennett is just in his tire tracks trying to keep up with that damaged truck, and they are gonna drive the wheels off this thing probably. The way we've seen them batter so far.
They're throwing it all on the wall and seeing if it'll stick. They're going to fight for it all here. And, of course, like you mentioned, catching up to that 25 of Alonso Chicano. He's about 2.5 seconds ahead of Durand and Bennett both. So, I mean, we'll have to see what he can do if he can maintain that 7th position. But as of right now, I believe the next that would be on the chopping block, if he is able to catch him, would be Dalton Kelly if Caldwell can catch him. That's our 6th place truck. But Caldwell, I think, is going to try to take it a little bit easier throughout the course, as he's got such a big lead. He's got just about a 7.5 second lead over 2nd place, Carl Felver.
And I've been watching the lap times of everybody in the top 3. And Caldwell, of course, continues to be the fastest. Kruger has been faster than Carl Felver.
Kruger took a big time hit on that turtle into turn 3, I believe, and it slowed him down quite a bit in that section, so he's going to continue to have to not overdrive like we saw him do a couple laps ago, and he's going to have to keep his head on his shoulders here these last couple laps, these last 11 laps, if he wants to keep his lap times down, keep his mistakes at a minimum, and tackle that 15 truck. We've seen them be slow and slower to Caldwell, obviously, the last couple of laps, but we know how consistent the 12 and 15 were in the first third of the 2/3 of this race. So as we see the 42 wheel hop almost into this back straightaway chicane, he needs to continue to minimize mistakes, and he's going to spin it, guys, almost. Wow.
Dave got the wall. Not what you wanted to do if you're Michael Kruger. You could have gotten for 2nd at least, but now it's stuck in. We had an incident here in the back chicane as well. Bennett got into the back of Durand. And now they just caught Chicano, and now Bennett gets into Durand. And Brett Bennett showing some class. He's going to allow the 20 to go back by him. A good show of respect, obviously. You know, not wanting to pass him that way, he said he wanted to give him the spot back.
You know, I think for Bennett, he also doesn't want to be in between that radius vortex sandwich.
Well, he's run into both of them tonight, so this could be a very feisty battle for 7th. And I mentioned it could have been a time penalty. At first, it looked like he missed that last corner of the chicane, but like you mentioned, Dawson, he apologized. And it could be, like I mentioned, that one apology might be just the only thing we hear between these two, because they've been going at it all night. These 3, excuse me.
Yeah, they've been fighting this whole race. They've been really respectful on the radio. And then at that point, you know, Brett got into the back of him. He was apologizing for it, and he immediately pulled to the side and let him have the spot back. So a good show of just, you know, respect. You know, he didn't want to pass him that way, so he gave him the spot back. So a good move there, good show of sportsmanship between the two of these guys. They want to battle hard, but they don't want to battle that hard, and they don't want it to go that way. So now the battle stretches back out. Now they have to try to chase each other down yet again, as the 25 of Alonso Chicano has run back away with the 7th position.
You know, I'm starting to think here. This has got me thinking. I just want to say one of these drivers could be Ross Chastain, another one Chase Elliott, and the other one Danny Hamlin. What we see in NASCAR just recently, Ross Chastain got into the back of both Chase Elliott and Danny Hamlin. Danny Hamlin a couple times, made both of them mad, and I think that is exactly what Brett Bennett is thinking of and not wanting to have happen, because he knows in this situation he is Ross Chastain, where just in front of him he's got Chase Elliott and Danny Hamlin.
I hate to say it, Josh, but I hope you're not hurting yourself stretching that hard. Meanwhile, Cameron Caldwell, as he continues to lead, has got some lap traffic up ahead of him. He's going to have to navigate. It's the 45 of Dalton Kelly just up ahead, and I believe the next one is going to be the 62 of Zach Probst. They are just up ahead of our race leader now. He'll catch Dalton Kelly by the end of this race. I don't think he'll catch Probst, but it will be close. Meanwhile, the battle has tightened back up between Chicano, Durand, and Bennett. I think all the damage Chicano has suffered is, not helping the truck. you know, obviously he got away from him when Brett got into the back of Duran, but now as they've continued on, you know, Chicano just trying to get down to speed to make the chicane. They're going to be able to do it, but they're going to be tight here coming on to oval 3 and 4.
It's a lot faster than them both right now. It looked like Chicano was gapping them both just a little bit momentarily, but now it looks like Justin Durand able to catch back up again through that back straightaway chicane as they dive into 16.
Oh. Yeah,
Big time moment.
Justin Durand, he got a little bit deeper into that chicane than what he wanted. He blows turn 1 as well. That allows Brett Bennett to get around the 20 of Justin Durand.
It's not the first time we've seen that same exact move into turn 1 for that 20 truck, and another overtake for this 8th position. Hopefully we'll be able to see them continue and fight for 7th, with Chicano, of course, just up the road. And now, while this happens, Cameron Caldwell has put Don Kelly down a lap in 6th. He's not like too far ahead of these guys, in all honesty.
A scary moment there it was, too. He was coming off of Oval 2, coming onto the backstretch. The 40 of Brandon Havens was trying to get out of the way. He shot all the way down to the bottom and just cut across the front of Caldwell's truck. Gave him a bit of a scare. No contact, no issues, but still, you know, any slight thing that happens like that, you start to worry because anything like that can mess up your race. So Caldwell's lucky that nothing came of it there, and he was able to keep it going.
Absolutely, Dawson. When you were mentioning the lap trucks a few moments ago, I was going to say Caldwell is in no danger of losing this race, even just catching the lap trucks, as long as it's drama-free and he doesn't get caught up in an accident of their doing. And like you mentioned, it almost happened there with them just trying to get out of the way of him. So he has to be extra careful on his toes here. No reason to push it with an 11-second lead, and it's only going to get bigger in the last handful of laps here.
Back to the battle for that 7th position.
It's looking like Bennett and Durand are better in this infield section, but Chicano was able to maintain it on the oval section, on that outside oval. You know, that's where he's able to keep his momentum and keep his speed up, but Bennett and Durand really close up as they get in to this infield Roval section.
Back onto the banking, Bennett was a lot closer to Chicano, entering turn 8, but then it seemed to be pretty even once they got back onto the 1.5 mile speedway here at Charlotte. There you see the distance now, pulling that 25 yet again into the turn 11 back straightaway chicane, and now he pulled that 25 big time exiting turn 12, but still not enough to really do anything on Chicano as they fight into the front straightaway.
Oh, man. Getting all of the turtles.
Well, I gotta say, I am, so far I'm glad I'm not a betting man because I would have lost money on this one here. Cameron Caldwell out front, you know, maintaining this race lead. He has made, you know, maybe one mistake all race, and all it cost him was one position that he got right back, you know, a couple laps later. So it's not been many issues for this 12 truck. Been able to keep it smooth and steady here as we're closing in 5 laps to go. Now this 12 machine is on a roll, 12 seconds, the gap between him and the 15.
A battle for...
Not only...
Go ahead, Adam.
Well, not only that, but just 5 lead lap trucks, and really the only one who could keep up with him all night was Felver, who of course led his handshare of laps, but these two are just in a league of their own tonight.
Say that battle for second place has been closing up a little bit. Still 4 seconds between the 42 and the 15 with 5 laps to go. Unless something drastic happens, I don't think Kruger's going to have a chance to catch Felver. Kruger has been closing in on the 15 machine. And talking about issues, Brandon Havens got around in the backstretch chicane.
Yeah, I thought I saw one truck go in there and not come out. Right behind Kruger, it looked like he got too much curb going into turn 11 and it spun to the left. We've seen a couple guys almost do that tonight, and the 40 was a victim of that. He's going to bring it into pit road for new tires and maybe park it as the race comes to an end, but probably just a learning night for Havens, who obviously ran, unfortunately, a lap down most of the race because he lost the lap really early and didn't get that lucky dog at the stage break, so.
Yeah, that spin he had there, he didn't hit the curbs. It looked like he might have just wheel hopped it there as he was coming down through the gears. Spun around on the entry of the corner. So it's an issue that you have, you know, you try to work on it throughout the race. Just make sure you don't do it. And as we see up ahead of Cameron Culba, it looks like it is the 62 of Zach Probst. Is just up ahead, as is the 44 of Andrew Elias. So some more lap traffic up ahead, but it shouldn't be too much of a factor. But the battle we're looking at is the battle for 7th. It's heating up once again. They're catching back up to that 25 of Alonso Cano.
I'm wondering how much Brett Bennett is going to try to be careful or try to push the issue to get around that 25 of Alonso Chicano.
He'll push the issue.
Yeah, the last time we saw these two, Chicano ran him over in turn 2.
No, I know Brett will push the issue. He's got to get this spot. He needs some more positions. With Probst ahead and having that stage point, Brett's going to need this position. You see Chicano having an issue with the backstretch chicane that allowed Brett to close up. He couldn't make a move. So we're going to have to see, with just 3 laps to go, can the 47 get past the 25 to get that extra spot and to try to get some more points towards his playoff hunt?
Down through the gears into that back straightaway chicane, Chicano almost spun to the right, almost tagged that safer barrier if he didn't, very close to, and kind of set him off guard into that turn 11, which is obviously a left-hander there. He's continuing to hold his position, but just truck lengths over Brett Bennett.
He is driving it in deep now. He is trying everything he can to catch that 25, to get to him, to try to get the spot. Chicano is in. He's got to win. He's holding the battle for the playoff, you know, for the regular season championship. So he has to fight, you know, for points to stay ahead of Kruger. Meanwhile, Brett Bennett's fighting to make the show. He's got to fight to try to make the playoffs. So these two are going to have this intense battle as we have 2 to go. Duran slips up, just a little bit behind, and Bennett is trying everything he can to get by Chicano.
Into turn 11 yet again. They're both on the curbs on both sides. Bennett got them in the entrance to 12. It's going to give him a little bit of advantage into speedways 3 and 4, I would believe. He can't quite do anything with it, though. Chicano gapping him just barely while Duran now equal to him.
Oh, Durand almost blows the corner, almost gets into the back of the 47. He doesn't. Brett Bennett now has no pressure from behind. All his focus is on in front of him past that 25 machine, Alonso Chicano.
Cameron Caldwell comes to the backstretch chicane. Just a 13.5-second lead. No big deal. And he'll come around and get the white flag this next time.
They make contact! Brett Bennett into Alonso Chicano. They both go around. The 20 of Justin Durand is right there. He's going to make contact with the 47. Brett Bennett goes around.
What a save to keep it straight by Brett Bennett. Durand unable to capitalize.
Wow!
Wow. Brett Bennett got hooked twice on the same lap, got hit by 2 different trucks, and he's still keeping it straight, but he is in big-time trouble. That truck is damaged heavily, it looks like, and Justin Duran not far behind.
Benefit is Duran got that wall as well after the contact, so it's not like Brett's the only damaged truck.
Oh no, absolutely not. All 3 of them are wrecked, and they're all going to continue to soldier on this last lap and a half with wrecked trucks. They've been wrecked all night. They've been fighting for the spot all night, but gloves came off.
Meanwhile, down the backstretch for the final time, going into the final, the backstretch chicane is Cameron Caldwell. He's got a comfortable 13.6 second gap on second place, Carl Felver. He's through oval 3 and 4 for the final time onto the front stretch, getting into the chicane just one more time. Off the chicane, and you see Happy Birthday Adam on the back of that 12 truck. Cameron Caldwell takes home the win.
As he has won, Durand is still hunting down Bennett. The race is still on for 7th. About a second back, I would not be surprised if the 20 truck sent a dive bomb attempt on the 47 as they're coming around here onto the oval section.
But Bennett opening up that gap on the speedway here, it's going to be a huge send for Duran. That's almost going to have to make him blow the corner to have him do anything. He's sending it in deep into turn 11, though. Let's see what he can do on the other side of 12. What he comes out, not quite enough to do anything. He's going to have one last shot, Josh, but might not be enough.
And to oval 3 and 4. Brett Bennett just needs to make it through this chicane cleanly. He does so. Brett Bennett takes 7th place. Justin Duran takes 8th.
That leaves Alonso Chicano to finish in 9th. And Alexander Kierfin finally crossing the line. He will finish 4th, the final finisher of the race. But out front, congratulations, Cameron Caldwell gets it done.
He's
A little extracurricular activity, yeah.
Meanwhile, Cameron Caldwell celebrating his win. Undefeated on the road courses in the In the Pits News Truck Series.
A lot of tempers flaring in this race, but overall, the win goes to the road course ace himself, Cameron Caldwell. Finds victory lane once more.
Cameron Caldwell, winner of tonight's In the Pits News Report 150 at the Charlotte Roval. Wow. That was a crazy finish. Between the 7th, 8th, and 9th place drivers, Brett Bennett, Durand, Chicano. Man. Well, let's go ahead and bring in our 3rd place finisher, Dawson. I believe you've caught up with Michael Kruger.
Yes, I am down here on pit lane with the driver number 42, Michael Kruger. A solid 3rd place effort today. What more do you think you would have needed to try to catch up to the 15 and 12 and try to go for the win there?
Man, I don't know if I really had much for those guys. I mean, if I just had cleaner restarts, maybe. But I don't know if I had much of those guys. I feel like I had even pace. It's just my restarts were kind of my Achilles heel, really, and they just kind of got away. And right when we got going, I just kind of couldn't really keep up with their pace. Carl and Cam both drove the wheels off that thing. They both did a great race. Congrats to Cam, by the way, on his win. I just don't know if I had much for those guys, really, except if I had just better restarts.
Yeah, and then we saw in that run, you were trying to catch that 15 of Carl Felver, got into it with a 25 Alonso Chicano. How much do you think that affected the truck trying to go after the 15, just to go for second?
Well, first and foremost, before I even begin answering the question, I want to apologize to Alonso there. I know he's not happy. That I ran that happened. I didn't intend for that to happen, for me to get into Alonso. And the truck, I felt like it felt okay after. It drove. I feel like I could still kind of catch Carl, but it wasn't enough though. The truck was already kind of a little messed up because I kind of already nicked the wall. But yeah, again, I'm sorry to Alonso there for that incident we had. I don't know how he'll see it though, but I guess we'll just move on. Hopefully, I'll have a word with him later about just what went down.
Alrighty, well, any sponsors, teammates, anybody you want to shout out? What gets it done for that 42 truck?
Well, first, I'd like to thank Josh Coppernol for having me part of PBR, Piston Broke Racing. Really appreciate to be a part of the team. I'd like to thank you, Dawson. Happy birthday, Adam. Happy birthday. Hope you have had a great day so far. I'd also like to give a shout out to my mom and dad watching this and just cheer me on for this. And yeah, just move on and head on to IRP next week.
Alrighty, that was Michael Kruger, driver number 42, a solid third place finish here at the Charlotte Roval. And I believe Adam is with our race winner, Cameron Caldwell. Adam?
Down here with Cameron Caldwell. Cameron, congrats on the dominant victory, of course. Obviously, a great showing. What was it like racing with Carl Felver for that most part of the race?
That was very intense. I just felt like neither of us were making any big enough mistakes to, really affect anything. I did hit the wall slightly at the top of the hill in the infield. That hurt me a little bit. I felt like enough to tow out, but I was able to stay with him for a little bit. And obviously, he started sliding around again in the back chicane, which that's really where I started to get him. And then it all came down to pit stops. I knew if I could pit before him, that I would get the lead and hopefully be able to hang on, seeing as he was able to hold on with fresh tires. So very happy it worked out. It was a great battle with Carl. Good race for me. I wish I could have cleaned up a little bit, but obviously I still got the win in the stage one, so that's all that matters right now.
Do you think that short pit was ultimately the race-winning call, though, to secure the lead and ultimately the victory tonight?
It definitely was. I was already planning about pitting around there because it's basically kind of splitting the stage. And that so happened to be like exactly halfway, I think. So it worked out in the way I wanted it to. And obviously getting around Carl helped a lot as well. Some lappers made it interesting for sure. But I don't really know what happened to Carl at the end. He definitely started kind of falling off from my pace. So I was able to take off. But I wish we could have raced on because it was a ton of fun. Definitely the most intense road course race I've ever been a part of for the first 3 quarters or so. So a lot of fun. But yeah, I think pitting before he did was the winning call.
Would you like to shout out and any sponsors for this second win on the season?
Well, first of all, shout out to Independence News for sponsoring me this weekend and sponsoring the race, sponsoring the series. I think that's 3 for 3 of the season on Independence trucks, or Independence sponsored trucks winning Independence sponsored races. So that's pretty cool to keep that going. Happy birthday to you once again. I want to shout out all my teammates, everyone for racing tonight, my friends and family for watching, and we will see you guys at IRP next week.
Congrats again. Up to you, Josh.
And I've caught up with our second place finisher, Carl Felver. Carl, you had a great run going on the beginning portion of the race. What was that strategy call there? We were wondering coming to the end of stage one if there may have been a little bit of an issue on the 15 machine, or if the plan was to come down pit road. So, what was going on there to end stage one?
The plan was to come down just to make sure I started first on second stage because I didn't think Cam would be able to pass me if I could hold the lead. So I intentionally kind of spun the tires and let Cam get at my outside coming out of the bus stop chicane on the backstretch, and just to make sure he couldn't follow me down and try and beat me off pit road. And it worked wonderful. So I was able to get in front of him, and then he was able to short pit me by a lap there in the second stage and get around me that way. But other than that, I don't know if Cam would have been able to get around me without a mistake. So
I had some damage on the front of the truck on both the left and right sides. What happened there?
I got the right front on the front stretch wall to start finish line like the lap after we pitted, just lack of concentration for a second. And then had some lap cars really know what they were doing, but checking up really bad through the bus stop chicane and the front stretch chicane, and I caught the wall just a little bit trying to not wreck him when I was lifting on exit. So I don't really know what was going on there, but it pretty much killed the turn in it. Plus I was far enough back at that point that I don't think I was going to be able to catch Cam anyway. So we just held on for second at that point.
Well, is there anybody you'd like to thank who gets it done behind the 15 truck?
Everybody at CFM for everything they do to help me with this, and then Cam and Alonzo as admins. I know they put a lot of time into this league, and then you guys for broadcasting. You guys do a great job.
Alrighty, well, congrats on the second place finish, and we'll see you next week.
Yep, thank you. Thanks for broadcasting.
And that was our second place finisher, Carl Felver. Finished 15 seconds behind race winner Cameron Caldwell. Guys, that was an intense race for the lead and for seventh. That was a great race.
It absolutely did not disappoint. I feel like it was a pretty good birthday gift for Adam. I hope. A really fun race there. A lot of these guys going at it. Every chance they could to get any position they could. Some tempers were flaring. Obviously, a little bit of issues with some people here, but that's the nature of it. It's nature of road course racing. So a very fun race there, and I'm just glad that I wasn't in the driver's seat for this one.
Absolutely. It was fun to watch, and it was fun to talk to you with calling the race, Dawson, as always, and of course you, Josh. And like you guys mentioned, it was very, very exciting at the very end. Didn't expect to have any excitement really with Cameron, of course, dominating like he did and Felver's mistakes. So thought it was going to be a pretty tame finish, but those guys spiced it up, and we were able to have a pretty good show there towards the end of the night.
Well, next week we head to IRP, the Indianapolis Raceway Park, and if you remember last season, that was a crazy, crazy race. You're not going to want to miss that one next week. Catch pre-race show 1 week from today, 7:45 Eastern Time.
Yeah, I can't wait for that one. That one was one that I had checked off on my list for tracks I'm looking forward to this season. Our throwback race, we're going to have some nice throwback paint schemes out there. It's going to be an absolute blast. Came close to getting a good finish last season here at IRP, but I think sure we're going to try to go for victory lane.
Well, that's gonna about do it from us here at Charlotte Roval for the In the Pits News Report 150. First off, I'd like to give a big shout out to my brother, who is 23 years free today of beating leukemia. It's a big shout out and milestone for him. That's going to do it from us here at the Charlotte Roval on behalf of Adam Kuhn, Dawson Allen, the admins, the drivers. I'm Josh Coppernell. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week at IRP. Stay safe and take care.